गणानान्त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनापवित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् तच्छंयोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजम् शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे शञ्चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः श्री साईश्वराय नमः हरिः ओम् नमोऽस्तु सूर्याय सहस्ररश्मये सहस्रशाखान्वितसम्भवात्मने सहस्रयोगोद्भवभावयोगिने सहस्रसङ्ख्यायुधधारिणे नमः यन्मण्डलं दीप्तिकरं विशालं रत्नप्रभं तीव्रमनादिरूपं दारिद्र्यदुःखक्षयकारणं च पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम्. All of you should repeat पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम्. तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यम्. That resplendent effulgence. Punatu Mam. May it purify all of us. May it illuminate all of us. Punatu Mam Tat Savitur Varenyam. This is the Yanmandalam Devaganai Supujitam Vipraistutam Bhavanamukti Kovidam Tandeva Devam Pranamami Suryam Punatu Mam Tat Savitur Varenyam Yanmandalam Jnana Ghanam Tvagamyam Trailokya Pujyam Trigunatmarupam Samasta Tejo Maya Divya Rupam पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं यन्मण्डलं गूढमतिप्रबोधं धर्मस्य वृद्धिं कुरुते जनानां यत्सर्वपापक्षयकारणं च पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं यन्मण्डलं व्याधिविनाशदक्षं यद्रुग्यजुस्सामसुसंप्रगीतं प्रकाशितं येन च भूर्भुवस्वः पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं यन्मण्डलं वेदविदो वदन्ति गायन्ति यच्चारणसिद्धसङ्घाः यद्योगिनो योगजुषाञ्च सङ्घाः पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं यन्मण्डलं सर्वजनैश्च पूजितं ज्योतिश्च कुर्यादिहमर्च्यलोके यत्कालकालाद्यमनादिरूपं पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं यन्मण्डलं विष्णुचतुर्मुखाख्यं यदक्षरं पापहरं जनानां यत्कालकल्पक्षय कारणञ्च पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं यन्मण्डलं विश्वसृजं प्रसिद्धम् उत्पत्तिरक्षप्रलयप्रगल्भं यस्मिन् जगत्संहरतेऽखिलं च पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं यन्मण्डलं सर्वगतस्य विष्णोः आत्मा परन्धाम विशुद्धतत्त्वं सूक्ष्मान्तरैर्योगपथानुगम्यं पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं यन्मण्डलं वेदविदोपगीतं यद्योगिनां योगपथानुगम्यं तत्सर्ववेद्यं प्रणमामि सूर्यं पुनातु मां तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं सूर्यमण्डलसुस्तोत्रं यः पठेत् सततं नरक सर्वपापविशुद्धात्मा सूर्यलोके महीयते इति श्री भविष्योत्तरपुराणे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे सूर्यमण्डलस्तोत्रं सम्पूर्णम्। ॐ श्री साईश्वराय नमः। हरिः ॐ। अग्निश्च मे घर्मश्च मेऽर्कश्च मे सूर्यश्च मे प्राणश्च मे अश्वमेधश्च मे पृथिवी च मे दितिश्च मे द्यौश्च मे शक्वरीरङ्गुलयो दिशश्च मे यज्ञेन कल्पन्तां ऋक् च मे साम च मे स्तोमश्च मे यजुश्च मे दीक्षा च मे तपश्च मरुतुश्च मे व्रतञ्च मे होरात्रयोगोर्वृष्ट्या बृहद्रधन्तरे च मे यज्ञेन कल्पेताम् गर्भागाश्च मे वत्साश्च मे त्र्यविश्च मे त्र्यवी च मे दित्यवाच्च मे दित्यौही च मे पञ्चाविश्च मे पञ्चावी च मे त्रिवत्सश्च मे त्रिवत्सा च मे तुर्यवाच्च मे तुर्यौही च मे पष्ठवाच्च मे पष्टौही च मभुक्षा च मे वशा च मर्षभश्च मे वेहच्च मे नड्वाञ्च मे धेनुश्च आयुर्यज्ञेन कल्पतां प्राणो यज्ञेन कल्पतामपानो यज्ञेन कल्पतां व्यानो यज्ञेन कल्पतां चक्षुर्यज्ञेन कल्पतागुश्रोत्रं यज्ञेन कल्पतां मनो यज्ञेन कल्पतां वाग् यज्ञेन कल्पताम् आत्मा यज्ञेन कल्पताम् यज्ञो यज्ञेन कल्पताम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Let us all be together. Let us all be nourished together. Let us all work together with great vigor. May our studies shine and illumine our intellects. May we not hate each other. Let there be peace, peace, and peace. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hari Om, Shalom, Sairam, Namaste. We are studying the Chamakam Prashna, the inquiry into what it is to be blessed with all the different aspects of presence and to be eligible and to be worthy of offering ourselves in this yajna of universal peace. Bhagwan's beautiful message to the students in the context of a prayer that he wrote for the students. O Lord, lift my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion. Oh Lord, take my hand and let them work incessantly for thee. Oh Lord, take my soul and let it merge into thee. Oh Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be one with thee. And let it flow in fullness of devotion. This prayer that Bhagavan wrote is about the love which should be flowing in fullness of devotion. The hands that are incessantly doing his work, and the soul that should be merged in one. And when we look at this beautiful prayer by Bhagavan, this is truly the yajna that we are talking about. And we were studying the context of, in the ninth Anvakam, very powerful inquiry into what is the fundamental aspect of prana, which is driven by the inner energy of what we call as the expression of the illumination as sound, as para, pashyanti, madhyama, vaikhari. Nabhi, hrit, kamala, nabhi, hrit, kantha, rasana, nasa. And this expression of the sound is the prana. The prana is the, in combination with the fire within, is what is first to be eligible to be offered in this yajna. Then there is the next piece, deeper going into this. This is what is called the tejas. This tejas is the vitality of life that is expressing through the entire life period of an individual, and this entire life period of an individual, starting from what we are looking at as garbha, which is at the fetus or the conceptual level, as the newborn, as the 1.5-year-old, expressed as male and female, the 2-year-old, male and female, the 2.5-year-old, male and female, the 3-year-old, male and female, 3.5, male, female, and 4-year-old, he and the she.
Excuse me, Sairam, audio bar it's not clear. Sairam, sorry. Not at all listening.
Oh, Sairam, can you all not hear?
Not very loud.
We are fine.
No,
We are fine.
Shekhar Garu, we can't hear at all. Sorry.
I can hear.
I can hear.
I can hear.
It's little low.
Yeah, I can hear from Houston.
Even I can hear, but it's a bit low.
Okay.
When they are talking, it's clear, but when you were talking, it was not audible.
Let me change my headset 1 second.
Sairam, is this better?
Very, very good, Andy. Now it's very clear.
Much better. Thank you.
Usual.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. So obviously you haven't missed much. Okay, thank you. Great.
We missed your beautiful song.
Who knows that prayer by Swami?
I have, Sairam. I have heard it, but I didn't know that it was Swami who wrote for the students. That's illuminating.
I have heard it. I knew it was from Swami, but I haven't heard with the music. It was so sweet.
So what I was talking about was the context of the 9th and the 10th and the 11th Anuvakam. The 9th Anuvakam is about the life force that is within us as the Agni and the Prana. And this Agni, what is called as Agnischame, Gharmaschame, Arkaschame, Suryaschame, Pranashchame, all this is the expression of the Agni within us, the fire within us, in combination with the prana, expresses itself as the word Agnirme Vachisritaha Vaghhradaye hridayam maji aham amrutege amrutam brahmani. And this, what we are called as the sound, which is the word, and that is what in ninth Anuvakam we were looking at as offering in the context of being eligible to be offered. And that is what we were studying in the ninth Anuvakam. And in the 10th Anuvakam last week, we were going through the context of what we are looking at as the tejas within us, and the tejas within us is going to be now expressed in the context of entire life cycle. The tejas is now expressed, and this tejas is the illumination, and this tejas is the one that is shining through at different cycles of one's own life cycle, from womb to tomb. And how do we actually connect to that? In this particular prayer that Bhagavan has written is what I was trying to sing before. O Lord, take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to Thee. O Lord, take my hands and let them work incessantly for Thee. O Lord, take my soul and let it be merged in one with Thee. O Lord, take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with Thee. O Lord, take my everything and let me be an instrument to work for Thee. And let me be an instrument to work for Thee. And let me be a worthy instrument to work for Thee. And this thing is what we call as, let me be a worthy instrument for work for Thee, is Yajna Kalpantam. By the way, there are 3 different types of Kalpatams will come, as you will notice. Kalpatam, Kalpetam, Kalpantam. Have you noticed this, Sairam? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Where does
Sairam. Yes.
Yes.
the word, where does it call kalpetam comes? Where does kalpatam comes? Where does kalpantam comes? Yes. Notice this.
Sairam, Anuvakam 9th end, Kalpetam.
Hmm.
Anu,
Yes.
Anuvakam 10th end, Kalpatam.
And Anuvakam 9, third line, Kalpantam.
Yes.
Okay. Where does kalpetam comes? Kalpatam comes. You have not focused on that. What happened to 5th Anuvakam, Sairam?
Yeah, Sarama, fifth Anuvakam is Yajna Kalpantam.
Yajna Kalpantam. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Where does Kalpatam comes?
10th Anuvakam.
10th Anuvakamanna. Ayur Yajna Kalpatam.
Okay. See, this is where the mind has to be, when it is total synchronization and focused, you will understand. Okay. Kalpatam. Where is Kalpatam?
Throughout Anuvakam 10.
Anuvakam, yes. Throughout Anuvakam 10, there is Kalpatam. Where is Kalpantam?
That is fifth Anuvakam.
And middle of ninth Anuvakam.
Middle of nine. Middle of nine. Yeah.
Where is Kalpetam?
Ninth end.
End of ninth Anuvakam. Thank you. Have you paid attention to those in the context of why some places it is Kalpantam, why it is Kalpetam and Kalpatam? Yes. Have you asked the question?
Yes, I was wondering
Yes.
about it.
We were wondering about it. And what did you find out? Okay. Think about those kind of questions too, because do not let the mind be accepting something what somebody says. Sairam, please ask the question. This is true inquiry. We are doing yajna, and the yajna in the Jnana yajna is an inquiry into every single aspect of what this is the true study. A true study is really not just reading some Swami's quote and then superficially just talking about it as a study circle and then leaving it like that. Then it is truly not a study, because a true study would make the mind steady and focused. And when we are looking at this kalpatam, kalpetam, kalpantam, Kalpatam is singular number.
Singular. Yes, I
May that be associated with that is a singular number. Then Kalpetam is a dual, is a dual number 2. And the last one, Kalpantam, is basically the plural number, because in Sanskritam there is all the three different context of singular, double and plural, and that is what is kalpatam, kalpetam, kalpantam. Coming back to this particular Anuvakam now, we are going through the life cycle of so-called go. And this go is what we were referring to as the jiva, the individual. Gaya is the individual life force, the tejas, that has gone through certain age. And at that point of 4 years of age for this jiva, then until then, there is the protective nourishment associated with the both masculine and feminine aspects of this individual jiva. And once that first 4-5 years of cycle is completed, which is the most critical in the development of the individual, the foundation as in nutrition and wellness, then the life begins. And this life goes on as Uksha, Vasha, Rishabha, Vehat, Anadvan, Vehat, Anadvan, Dhenuhu. Uksha is the one that is able to produce, a one that has matured into productivity aspect of it. Vasha means the one that is barren. Rishabha is the best in its kind. A bull that is the best in its kind is Rishabha. And you will hear the word Rishabha in also the context of describing something that is the most best in its kind. Rishabha. Vehat means one which is ineligible and miscarries. Anadwan is an ox that is used for pulling. Dhenu is a cow which is with a young calf. You're wondering, no? What is all this to be in the context of a life cycle of a cow? How it applies to us? From the point of view of understanding the literary meaning or the literal aspect of the life cycle of a cow, what it is saying is independent of its nature of the life of a cow, male or female, it's 100% utilized for eligible for service or sacrifice. It is 100% doing service or sacrifice. Bhagavan says very beautifully, a very simple aspect. Govu మలముతిని ఫలమిస్తుంది, మానవుడు ఫలముతిని మలమిస్తాడు. I'll translate for those of you who do not know Telugu. A cow eats what is useless as grass and converts it into everything that is useful. Every single aspect of a cow is useful, whereas a human eats what is useful and converts it into completely useless matter. You can go do research on how many different ways the matter of the cow is used, including, it's called 5 different things that are used from the cow that are used in sacred rituals as the most supreme. You can do homework on it. I am not going to dig deep into all of those things because there has to be some study, including what the cow does is when it eats, it's called chewing the cud. It will take it into this different compartments of its digestive system, brings back, chews it, puts it back, so that this entire digestive system of the cow then is enriching it with beneficial bacteria and the microbiota, and which is now enriching the milk, enriching the urine, enriching the dung. So what it is doing? It is not simply living in the society like a parasite. It is actually taking things and not simply eating them and convert it into useless matter. It takes the time to ruminate, and pun intended, it ruminates. It actually reflects, it actually brings it back and takes what is only useful and discards anything that is useless. There is nothing, every aspect of life is going through this. Yato nidahati vedaha. Soma marati yato nidahati vedaha. Now, what we do as humans is that every experience of our life, what we do is we only take the emotion portion of it, leave the knowledge portion of it. And what do? We live in emotions all the time, but not the knowledge that is created through this experience that should be only retained and the emotion discarded. Therefore, we are useless species on this earth. I'm sorry to say it that way. I didn't mean it that way. Not every human is like that, right? So I'm not generalizing it, but I'm saying a majority of us are so much like useless to ourselves, not to others. We are useless to ourselves. Why you are useless to yourself? Because you are constantly living this life that is not worthy of living. Unlike that, whether it is a stud bull, whether it is a barren cow, whether it is the best of its species, whether it is ineligible for reproduction, whether it is an ox that is castrated, or whether it is a cow with a young calf. Just check in the society how incredible this organism is in dedicating itself, independent of its status in the society, doing something that is always useful. Are you all with me so far, Sairam? Am I talking to myself?
Here we are.
Yes, I am.
Yes, yes, I know. We are with you.
Yes. So what does this mean to us?
How to become useful.
And taking
Worthy instrument. Be.
how to be an instrument that is worthy. Kalpatam, kalpaha is the root word is about samardhya, the efficiency and the eligibility and the worthiness. That is not implied or intended to become guilty and now think that you are a useless organism. That is implied to inspire. And with my buddies in Florida, my little buddies Jai Sai, Vijay Sai had a beautiful satsang about what it is to be useful to the society. In what way? Very inspiring. How our life cycle is associated with matters that we actually take a useful incidence, but we take the emotion out of it and create a commotion, create a story behind it, and then you get stifled by it, and then you are living a life that is completely useless to yourself. Instead, what a cow is doing is, even in the context of what we were talking about, chewing the cud. Yes, chewing the cud. You should look at the digestive system of a cow. It's the most fascinating digestive system. It's really an incredible organism to study. And it is not, there are only two, apparently, I don't know this for a fact, but apparently there are two things that came out without creation of a Brahma. One of them is the cow, and I don't know if you know what the second is. When we are looking at this aspect of Uksha, Vasha, Rishabha, Vehat, Anadvan, Dhenuhu. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6 different aspects of the life cycle of the cow beyond its 4th year of life. So basically what it is saying is, after 4 years, then the context of the individual tejas is expressed, and may I have or be blessed with a stage, every stage of my life and every part of myself be eligible to be offered in this yajna, is what we are looking at as the essence of take my love and let it flow in fullness of devotion to thee. Take my hands, let them work incessantly for thee. Take my soul and let it be merged in one with thee. Take my mind and thoughts and let them be in tune with thee. Take my everything and let me be an instrument to work for thee. Any questions, comments? No, you're all blissed out. Sairam?
Sairam, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So this is a prayer. Chamakam is a prayer, and we are praying. And why should we pray for Vasha and Vehat?
We think that if you are unable to reproduce, you are useless. In spite of whatever situation I am in, may I be blessed and eligible to be partaking in this yajna. That's the way it is implied. You only want to ask God for what is good and don't want to. No, if you are truly an instrument of service, it doesn't matter whether good happens to you, bad happens to you, you are still a worthy, eligible instrument to be serving in the mission of Yajna. That's the way it is implied. Sairama.
Saramana,
Yeah.
is there any significance of differentiating with a male and female, right? They talk about male cow, female cow at different ages. Is there any significance of that male and female part? Because
yes, the yin and the yang, the male and female are inseparable in every aspect of one's existence. There are female and male energies, and this male and female, as we are understanding, is not a gender. It is about the nature of such feelings or nature of such existence. This is described very beautifully in Zoroastrianism. Auntie Jeru is online today. Oh, I see her.
Yes, I am here.
I request you, Auntie, to describe this male and female energies that we are talking about, not gender associated, but nature associated.
Okay, so Ahura Mazda, which is a god in Zoroastrianism, is believed to have 6 energies. And together with Aura Mazda himself makes it 7. You were talking about the 7 last week. But anyways, so the 6 energies, the 3 of them have, they're actually not conceived of as gods or goddesses, but they do have male adjectives attached to them, 3 of them. And 3 have female adjectives attached to them. And so if you were to draw that as a diagram, it would appear to be like a 6-pointed star, and a 3 would form the triangle that's pointing downwards, and 3 would form a triangle that's pointing upwards. The pointing downwards triangle is the female, and that's the energy that brings us into the material world. And the energy that helps us rise above and get back to the spiritual realm is the triangle that's pointing upwards. So therefore, the Zoroastrian religion is also known as the Mazdayasni Zartushti. Mazdayasni, meaning the aspect of coming down into the material world, and Zartushti is where Zoroaster teaches us how to rise back up into the spiritual world. I'm sorry if I went on too long.
No. That's beautiful, Auntie. That is why I asked you to share, because now you see the perspective of these things is not simply one religion associated. It's a fundamental human being energy associated. And what she's talking as a triangle going upward and a triangle going downward is the triangle of the Star of David. You see this, right? I'm pointing out right behind in Swami's altar. The context of the same triangle upward, downward is exactly the construction of the Sri Chakra, where the triangle downward and the triangle upward, and they cross and they meet at the point which is called as the nada and the bindu. And this context of these energies manifested, one that is drawing you towards prakriti, the other that is drawing towards the purusha, one that is drawing towards the shakti, the other is the shiva. And this constant interaction between these forces is coming through the center, which is the Rudra, the Nada, the Bindu. Don't think that going downward is bad, going upward is good, all of that stuff. It's just the nature of the life. You need both those. And actually both those are happening. And that pointers of the triangle is Sat Chit Ananda. This is the essence of Sri Chakram. This is the essence of the Star of David. This is happening in the fire. Agnischame, Gharmaschame, Arkaschame. Auntie and I were exchanging emails very beautifully about that particular Anuvakam over the emails last week. In which implied Ahura, Ahoratrayor Vrishtya, in which implied Sekvari Rangulayo, Disaschame, all those things. I mean, of course, what I'm really coming to us to look at is it's the beauty of expression of the self with these two energies associated with them, and you require both as an individual. the conscious and the unconscious aspect of our awareness with the mind. Is that too much, Sarama?
No, fantastic. Especially the whatever auntie said was really very, very touching.
Now you must be completely aligned with why Swami said Rudram is to be not simply chanted but to be lived through, because when you are living the Rudram, you are living the essence of the entire being, not associated with one religion. And of course, Bhagavan, when he says something that is Veda, Veda is what Bhagavan says, not the other way around. Whatever he says is Veda. And Veda is nothing to do with what we associate ourselves with. When I say it is nothing to do with, it is not just associated with what we think these Veda mantras are about. Now you see the study of the mankind is entirely embedded in this thing, including the life cycle of an individual. Yes, any other questions?
Sairam, I have a clarification. So if I consider Samudra Manthana as that is happening constantly inside me, and the cow, the Kamadhinu also was churned, one of the, so can I relate anything? Is there any similarities between what you are explaining right now with the Kamadhinu that expressed out of that Manthana? So that is within us, the sacrificial thing.
Yes, the context of the Yajna kalpatam, the kalpantam or kalpetam, when what you are talking as the churning, not just Kamadhenu, there is Kalpataru, there is Bilva Vriksha, there is Gandham, there is also Halahal. What are you doing with that? Kusuma, what are you doing with Halahal? Why only Kamadhenu Kalpataru?
So both are important. I mean, so you just be there in the middle.
Okay, so why only Kamadhenu? Because this Kamadhenu and what we're talking in this context of the life cycle of an individual as the jiva, then this is nothing to do with that Kamadhenu that we're talking about, right? What is Kamadhenu? What is Kamadhenu?
Well, the literal meaning is
Whatever you desire, it will give.
So Kama is desire, Dhenu is
giving.
The cow.
The cow with a young calf is Dhenu, not every cow. Dhenu means the one which has a calf with it. So be careful in what you desire, because it will be fulfilled. Are you with me? We are only associating like Pavan is asking, why I have to ask for Vehat or why I have to ask for Vasha. We are only associating what we call as good and bad. I will want only good from God. He should be blessed with me for only good. And please don't give me anything that I cannot tolerate. No, actually, Mother Kunti prayed, give me all the troubles so that I will constantly remember you. No escape.
So Sairam, the Vasha and Vehat gives me a chance to get out of the life cycle. Because we are talking about the life cycle. That's why I'm reading it.
Didn't track, Sarah.
So we talked about the male and female life forces, energies, and entire life development cycle and stages, and full and also eligibility for sacrifice and service and yajna, and also about the way, I mean, maybe I'm interpreting, or the way I see it is the prayer for Vehat and Vasha and Anadvan and all this is also gives chance to get out of the life cycle, because there is a continuous life cycle happening.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, there is another beautiful symbolic mythological aspect about all of this as well. Keep introspecting. Yes, the context of every single stage, whether it is reproductive, unreproductive, male, female, etc., everything has a utility in the context of sacrifice. That's the message that we need to take. Everything has a utility in the context of service. And that is where we are looking at this. And then don't literally take this cow as a Kamadhinu and all of that stuff. That these are all pointers. They're simply pointers. And the last piece, then we get into this beautiful aspect of elaboration of 10 things that are worthy to be offered in the yajna, which is now all of them singular in nature, therefore it is kalpantam. Ayuhu, pranaha, apanaha, vyanaha, chakshuhu, shrotram, manaha, vak, atma, yajna. There is no chame in this, right? All of them are now 10 of them. Ayuhu, pranaha, apanaha, vyanaha, chakshuhu, shrotram, manaha, vak, atma, yajna. All these 10 are now, may they be worthy or be 100% eligible to be offered in yajna. Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu. Bhadran Karne prayer is also a replication of the same expressed in a different way. We all know what is Ayuhu. What is Ayu?
Life force.
What is Ayuhu?
Lifespan.
Lifespan. What is lifespan?
From womb to tomb.
How do you define lifespan?
Age.
Age. Pardon me? Age. Yes. Is age lifespan? Hello.
Womb to
age
tomb.
womb to tomb. Okay. Is so what is Ayuhu?
Long we live.
How long you
Aishu
live?
is the
How long you live is Ayushu. Yeah. Okay. I will
Aishu is
give you a perspective which will shake you. That's why I'm asking this question. Is Ayuhu the physical lifespan? Is Ayuhu? Ayuhu is the number of counts of breath with which you are programmed before you entered life. Last week when I was talking about this सांसों की माला पे सिमरू में पी का नाम, अली मौला अली दम दम लख ते करोड़ वारी अखो dam dam. Number of counts of breaths are programmed and sent. How fast you spend them is when you are done. Now people won't be breathing, huh? That's why it's called.
We want exercise.
You this number of counts of breaths that you are actually taking in, this is pranayama, means that you are able to program and count this, and this is ayuhu. May each breath of mine be eligible to be offered in this yajna. Every breath of mine. सांसों की माला पे सिमरू में पी का नाम. That's what Meera said. Mother Meera said that. Then what I do with every breath inside, I think of Ali. With every breath out, I thank Ali. Ali Mola, Ali Mola, Ali Dam Dam. Ali Mola, Ali Mola, Ali Dam Dam. Ali Mola, Ali Mola, Ali Dam Dam. Lakh te karor vari akho dam dam. Ali Mola, Ali Mola, Ali Dam Dam. Ali Mola, Ali Mola, Ali Dam Dam. That when you are thinking of Ali when you breathe in, because the one who is breathing in is not you, that is Ali that is breathing in. And when you breathe out, you are not sure if you will be able to breathe in again. If you know that for sure. So I may not be of eligible to breathe in again, and therefore every time I breathe out, I thank. Every time I breathe in, I think, thank. If every thought is in thinking has become thank, I won't ask you what's the difference between think and thank. What's the difference between think and thank?
I, individual I, and omnipresent.
I and
You are,
other.
you are not I and other, Sai Rama. It's I and A. It's I and A. The one who thinks is Buddhi, the one who thanks is Buddha. The one who thinks is Buddhi about itself, I. The one who thanks is thought for all. Therefore, Buddha. The enlightened one is thanking. The Silicon Valley one is thinking. But when this thought that is now turned towards all in the breathing, then when that thanking comes in the context of this every count of breath that is happening, sa so ki ma la pe sa so ki ma la pe sa so ki ma la pe simuru me simuru me simuru me पीका नाम प्रेम के रंग में ऐसी डूबी, then it becomes love. And when it is suffused with love, it is eligible to be offered in sacrifice. Ayuhu yajnena kalpatam. Pranaha yajnena kalpatam. When pranaha is yajnena kalpatam, obviously when there is a prana, there is apana, then there is a vyana. One, two, one prana, apana, vyana. These three are associated with the life force. The prana as the vitality that we are talking is associated now with in combination with the agni, the fire aspect of it, because it's now combustible. You see? Now I'm talking scientifically, it becomes combustible. It is combustible because it is associated with the fire, and therefore it is called oxygen because it is combustible and supporter of combustion. Apa anaha. Apa anaha, which is the reverse of it. Neither combustible nor supporter of combustion. That is the context of apana. Even that is eligible for yajna. How? How is that eligible for yajna, Sairama? How is apana eligible for yajna? Hello, Sairam. There should be somebody who is a scientist.
Controls the fire.
No, it's not.
Controls the fire.
What happens with carbon dioxide? Hello.
Breathing out.
No, what happens with carbon? You are breathing out, but what happens with?
Trees absorb and produce.
Trees absorb that and convert it into food. So we are thinking only oxygen is good. No, oxygen and carbon dioxide both are utilized. And in fact, the trees, without them, the carbon dioxide piece of it is very important in the context of absorbing what that is released as apana, and then vyana, which is now circulating as nourishment in all aspects, in equality, vyanaha, expansion aspect of it. And that is what is prana, apana, vyana. I think we should pause here because we are 11 minutes over. So this is the true aspect of this introspection about all the things that we're talking about, this is the yajna. When that awareness comes in the context of every breath, every thought, every aspect of the system, the study of the system makes you steady. Yes. Thank you for joining. And before we are going to, who is on this call that is able to chant Arunam other than Kusuma? Is there anybody that's able to chant Arunam? This Arunam, Sairam, this beautiful Aruna Prashna is the context of what we are talking as is an expansion about what we are calling as the sun god. It is not about just the sun god. It goes into all these different aspects of how the prana, how the all the different aspects of life and everything is manifested in this universe. The study of that is called Aruna Prashna, the inquiry into that, which is the expansion from the Rudra into all the different aspects is Aruna Prashna. So today uh, I will go right away into Aruna Prashna, and thank you for joining. Jai Sai Ram. So I will conclude with three Shantis for those of you who need to jump out. Army start for 6 hours. What is army? Oh, okay.